Welcome into the sanctuary, everybody. What a great good thing it is to spend this time with you on this beautiful Christmas day. Darn it, I missed the figgy pudding. I couldn't hear it inside. And I thought, well, I'll make it out in enough time for the figgy pudding, but I didn't. However, I'll eat some later on. And so here we are on this beautiful Christmas morning, and it's a delight to be here with you. Indeed, it's a joy and an honor to be here with you on this great good day. And of course, we're looking at the meaning of life really in a big way today. And it is indeed Emmanuel. That's the meaning of life, which simply means that it's all God. God is in and through and with everything and everyone. And so if we want to know what our name is Emmanuel, God with us, God with us. But not just with us in the same way as a person is with us, no matter how dear that person is, but in us in a very real, in a very palpable, in a very vital way. And more than that, God in us as us, which is a very awesome thing to contemplate and to realize. And it's so awesome we don't get it most of the time, and some of us don't ever get it in this one lifetime. But sooner or later we do. We get the understanding and the realization that there's something more to us than just ourselves. And it's a very real thing. And even at our worst moments and our naughtiest moments, there is that thing within us that nudges us and tells us, you're not this. What's all that about? You're not this. This is not who and what you are. You are so much more than this. So why would you settle for such a little understanding and realization and experience of life when you could have an awesome experience of life and living? And that's the message of Christmas. The incarnation of life itself in you, in me, and in every living thing. A terrible beauty, really. And it's a beauty that's a throbbing, vital thing. And so when we come together and we sing our songs and we hear the lovely words and we read the lovely words and we reflect on all of those, in order to get a sense of this moreness and this greatness. And it works, but it only works for a little while. And then it goes away, that kind of realization and that kind of understanding. So we have to say, well, where is Christmas for me in the ordinary, everyday living and in each passing moment? Where is Christmas for me, you see? Because this idea of the Christedness of life and living long precedes the time when the master lover Jesus walked on this plane and became that great way shore for us all. It precedes long before that. That Christed conscious energy came into the world as soon as the world was. And it's the Creator creating something because the Creator wanted to experience itself in whatever it was that the Creator created. And to do that, the Creator had to enter into what was created and be that. So that the experience could be realized as that person, place, or thing. Now, why the Creator would choose to do that, I'm clueless on. I have no idea. But that's the way it is, and I'm good with it. That's the way it is. Why I do certain things myself, I'm clueless about. I have no idea. But that's the way it is. So you look at it, and you say, it's just what it is. It's just what it is, regardless of what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. This is just what it is. That way you and I don't get a bloated sense of ourselves when it's something good that we have initiated. And we don't get down on ourselves too much when it's something naughty that we have initiated. We look at it and we say, isn't that interesting? But it just is what it is. And somehow or another, it's an experience that I can grow from, regardless of which side it's on, whether it's on the negative or the positive. I can look at it and say, this is an experience I can grow from. Obviously, it came into my life for that purpose, so that I could grow from it. you see. There's a gift in everything. I went into our own store. I think I'm the best customer in there. It saved my life so many times I can't tell you. But I was looking at the little signs, the little simple signs that say, it's a jingle out there and all of those kinds of things. And one of them said, you know, you are the gift. You are the gift. You're the gift. Now that's what Christmas is about. It's not about giving and receiving gifts. It's about understanding that I am the gift, the incarnated gift of light itself, life itself, love itself, peace itself, joy itself. And I am here to give that gift away. And that's what Christmas is all about. I'm here to give the gift of myself away. So how does that Christmas show up in every day of life and living? How do we recognize it? Well, you could recognize it in the story that, oh my goodness, so many ministers tell. I've heard it 100 times, and every time I hear the story, I'm always moved by it. And it's about the little boy who was desperately longing for a puppy, desperately longing for a puppy. And he'd saved up for his puppy, he'd saved up for his puppy. And he lived in the country, and he was going by Farmer Brown's farm one day, and he saw a sign, puppies for sale. And so he ran home excitedly, got all his money together, and he ran to the farm, and he met Farmer Brown, and he said, oh, I want to buy one of your puppies, Mr. Brown. And he said, oh, you do you? He said, well, he said, how much have you got? He says, I have 37 cents. 37, here, count it all out, 37 cents. He says, oh, you do you? He said, how much do the puppies cost? He says, well, a puppy for you costs exactly 37 cents. So he opened the little place where the little puppies were, and 4 of these gorgeous, cute puppies ran out. They just loved the little boy. They were playing with him, and he was playing with them, and he had a terrible time deciding which one he was going to bring home. And then he saw another little pup slithering down a little rampart to get out. And then he came hobbling out, and he ran up to the little boy, and he was licking up the little boy. The little boy says, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. And the farmer says, but you can't have that one. There's something wrong with his back legs. And he said, no, I want that one, I want that one. The farmer's trying to convince him not to take this puppy. And then he pulled up his little pants, and there were calipers on his legs. And he said, you know, I have a problem too with my legs, he said. And I think that little puppy would love to have somebody who understands him. And off he went with the little puppy, you know. And that's Christmas. That's Christmas. That is Christmas. That's exactly Christmas. And how many times did you need somebody in your life who you needed to understand you? And how many times were you there for somebody who you could understand in situations like that? What is Christmas? Christmas, again, is standing in line when, you know, the lines are so long in the shops, the stores, the supermarkets, and so on, and you get a really crabby person who's up, you know, checking everybody out. Really, really crabby, you know, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, Lord, or whatever you're thinking to yourself. But then you could be like the lady that arrived at the counter eventually and looked at this disheveled lady, you know, and said, gosh, you must be having a hard day today. Life is not always easy sometimes, and people can be, you know, naughty at times and not at their very best in situations like this. And oh, by the way, what gorgeous, beautiful, blue, sparkling eyes you have. And then a whole change occurs. A whole change occurs, transformation wondrous, smile comes on the face, helpful, wishing you, you know, a nice day and all of that, and the people who come behind are the benefit of that too. That's Christmas. That is Christmas. Or it could be when you are out and about and you see somebody who's in need of something, you open a door for somebody with a lot of packages and so on. That's Christmas. Think about your very best Christmases. What was your very best Christmas that you can remember? And what was your very best gift? I was thinking of that as I was getting ready this morning to come in here. So what's the best Christmas gift I ever received? And what was my best Christmas ever? And 2 things came to mind. The best Christmas gift I ever received was a hot water bottle. Ever. A hot water bottle, and you're wondering why. Of all the things, why a hot water bottle? Well, it was a very, very cold, windy, sharp, breezy, biting cold night. And we had just come back from midnight mass. We had just come back to the convent from midnight mass. And for the nuns, you know, it was a great treat after midnight mass, and it was midnight mass, 12 o'clock midnight mass was midnight mass. And it was a great treat. We'd come out of Advent, and we had been in, you know, not receiving mail or gifts or anything like that, and living very simply. We had a big feast. For us, it was a big feast. And it was a very simple affair. But we would come back and we'd have a big feast, and then we would be given all our Christmas mail and gifts. And the young nuns got to stay up as late as they wanted to on that one night of the year. And of course, that was just a thrill for us. So having gone through all of our mail and so on and so forth, knowing that we had to be up to sing for the 6 o'clock mass the next morning over the church, the parish church, we wended our way to our beds. Well, I can tell you, I mean, it was, we lived, the younger nuns lived in converted stables, one long room and 2 rows of windows, and the wind rattled through one set of windows, through the dormitory and through the other set of windows, and it was pretty darn cold. And so when you get to your bed, you're frozen before you get into it, and you know what it's like getting into a frozen bed. I got into bed and there was a hot water bottle in it, and I went, "Oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven." I had a hot water bottle in my bed. Now, for those of you who don't know the full story, when I entered the convent, like no other nun has ever done, I brought my hot water bottle with me. And they let me keep it for the 6 months I was a postulant. And as soon as I became a novice, they took it away. They said, "Now, Sister Miriam, can't you be like the virtuous woman and give up that human comfort?" And I really wanted to say, "No, Mother, I can't." That's what I really wanted to say, but however, I handed up my hot water. But see, all the senior nuns could have the hot water bottles, but the young ones had to suffer the cold. That was just the way it was, and we were happy to do that. I hugged that hot water bottle like I was hugging Jesus himself. I couldn't have been more grateful if I was hugging Jesus himself for that hot water bottle. And that's Christmas. And I was so grateful to whoever it was who gave up their hot water bottle that night so that I could feel warm in my bed. And it was a young visiting nun from India who had done it. But that was one of the greatest gifts I have ever received. And then I can remember another Christmas night in the convent too. We went out walking in the afternoon in the biting, piercing cold, and we wanted to visit an elderly lady who lived in a pretty dilapidated sort of cottage and so forth, but she was always cheery and happy, and she always had a kind word and a happy thought for everybody. And she lived alone, and she didn't have any relatives around, so 3 of us young nuns decided that we would go and visit her. And so we went off to visit Nancy, and again we walked through the biting, chilling cold, but it was stunning, and we were throbbing and very alive because the lights from the stars were dancing. They truly were dancing in that purple, you know, that purpley, pinky, purple sky, and the place was aflame, aflame. And so we sang all the Christmas carols as we walked down this country road, nobody else on it, only us, of course, so we could bellow like buffaloes out those hymns, and we did, and we got there anyway, and she brought us in, and we sat down. I don't know what we were sitting on, but we sat down. She's a big open fire, you know, with the big black pot over the open fire, cooking up something. I don't know what it was. It was like a witch's brew. But anyway, it was her dinner, she told us, and we were going to leave just before she had her dinner, and she would insist that we stay and have dinner with her. Well, God knows what was in the pot, and I'm thinking, I don't know what that is, but I know this much, I have to eat it. So we truly did say grace that day, and we blessed our food very much that day as the soupy thing, whatever it was, we ate, as she sang and told us stories and entertained us and so on. And then we left her just as it was getting dark, and we came back again. And really our hearts were singing and our heads were ringing with the consciousness that we'd had the most Christ experience you could ever have. And we had it outside of any church or temple or holy place. We had it in a little dilapidated cottage with a beautiful lady who gave us what she had to give which was her own food, her own dinner. And that's Christmas. And that's Christmas. And every day there are opportunities for that experience out there to happen. And you see, when people are crabby and awful with us, you know, we don't know what's going on in their lives. We really don't. We don't know what heartache can be going on. And if you pause enough and wait enough and have a kind word to give, you might know what's going on. And so it takes us out of any sense of going into judgment. And that's what Christmas is about, to be non-judgmental and to receive all. It's about the hospitality of the heart. It's about the hospitality of the heart. It's about being open to be what you are here to be. Christmas. When anybody used to ask me, who would I like to be, you know, as a child, or even as an adult, if you could pick any character in all of history, dead or alive, who would you like to be? And I always went to Santa Claus. I always wanted to be Santa Claus. Even as a child, I thought how lovely to go around giving people gifts, especially people who didn't have much of anything, to give them gifts and make them feel better for a little bit of time. And then I came to understand that Santa Claus is indeed real and very much alive. And that, yes, indeed, Virginia, there is a Santa. And what it is, it's the heart's longing to contact and touch that Creator that created us as love, in love, from love, to love. And we're looking for it. We're looking for that connection again. We're looking for that awareness that there is something magical and mystical and magnificent that is calling us all of the time. And so Santa Claus is the spirit of that creative presence, that creative force, that principle of truth that's always calling us back to itself. That's all Santa Claus is. And every time you and I give of ourselves, and every time you and I make a difference in someone's life, put a smile on a face, put a hop, skip, and jump in a foot, you know, that's Santa coming through you. That is the spirit of the incarnation of Emmanuel, God in you, through you, and as you, happening right where you are. There's no great convoluted complexity about it. It's very simple. It's very simple. Just be the best of yourself and your Christmas, living it in your heart every day, as Scrooge came to discover. I love the story of Scrooge. I will watch everything and anything that has the story of Scrooge. And one of my favorite ones is the Muppets story of Scrooge. It's very well done. And I will watch all of that because it reminds us, no matter what we're going through, what our travails are and so on, we can. If Scrooge can do it, let me tell you, any one of us can do it. If he can do it, any one of us can do it. And so there's a reality to all of these stories. There's a reality to all of these myths. Of course there is. And here's the thing about all of that. We are these characters. They're not separate from ourselves. There's a Scrooge in you, there's a Scrooge in me. All of these wonderful stories, they're the stories of ourselves. They're the reflections of aspects of our beings. So let's embrace the Santa story. Let's embrace the story of that beautiful, wonderful Christmas that occurred, the mythological aspect of it that's told over and over and over again, and understand that the infant that came into being is the Christ light within you and the Christ light within me. And the swaddling clothes that the infant was laid in is the human condition. And the stable is the matter, the material body that's given to us to use while we're here. And yet, in spite of the swaddling clothes, in spite of the manger, there's the heavenly, glorious, angelic hosts praising and blessing this thing that has happened, the incarnation of a soul into this world, into heaven coming down and producing itself on earth by means of you and by means of me. That's the story of Christmas. That's the story of the Christmas that Jesus told. He said, yeah, you know, I could be a big whoop-de-doo, and probably I am a big whoop-de-doo, and I'm getting caught up here as I usually do. But so are you. And I've done great good things, but so can you. He never drew it all to himself. He never gave himself any glory. He said, to God be the glory. It is not I that doeth the work, it is the Father within me that doeth the work. Oh no, do not call me good, for God alone is good. This word that I'm sharing with you, it's not my own, it's the word of the one who sent me. Exactly true for you, it's exactly true for me. The very same as was for Jesus is for you, is for me. And any great soul that has managed to break through into the Christ consciousness and into the awareness of that throbbing, awesome beauty and light and magnificence that's always powerfully glowing and shining within us. And always the light of the world is right here where you are, where I am, even if I choose to sit in the darkness. Even when I choose to sit in the darkness, the magnificence of the glory of that light is as emblazoned as it ever was in the beginning, in the incipiency of myself and of yourself. So it doesn't matter what dark pocket I take myself into. I cannot get away from the light. The light goes with me because the light is me. That's just how it is. And that's the great, great thrilling news today. It's the good news. And what does it say? It speaks of peace on earth and goodwill to all people. Goodwill to all people. So you and I are called to be the peace. It's not about a slogan, peace on earth, goodwill to men. It's not about an empty slogan, a two-dimensional thing written on a banner or a plaque somewhere. It's about the vibrancy of that energy leaping and hopping and jumping up in and down in your heart and in your soul and in your mind. That's what it's about. Because if you and I are not the peace, there's no peace. If you and I are not the goodwill, there is no goodwill. We cannot leave it to anybody else to make peace. We cannot leave it to anybody else to create goodwill. Of course not. It has to be you and it has to be me. And you are the only Christ that some people will ever meet. And remember that. You are the only Bible that some people will ever, or holy book, that some people will ever read. You are it. That's who you are. You are the glorious manifestation of a divine desire in the mind and in the heart of God that throbbed you out into the universe when that creator wanted to know itself, experience itself, and evolve itself by means of you. That's who you are. And so no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what your situation is, no matter what your challenges are, no matter what your trials and your tribulations happen to be, they can all be worked through and handled magnificently if you remember to take them to the light and the power and the presence that throbs within you and surrender them to that grace, that amazing grace that can take you through whatever it is you're going through and leave you on the other side of it the better for having gone through it. That's the truth. It's the only truth. It's the principle of truth that lives within you, and you could draw from it to heal and to mend and to fix anything that is requiring that. And I know that not everybody sitting in this room today is all that jolly necessarily because of things that are going on. But at the same time, I'm saying to you, it's the same for you as it is for anybody else. If you could just associate yourself, identify yourself with the truth of your being, the moreness of your life, the greatness within you, and know that it is given to you to move through any challenge like all of the great ones have shown us. And when I say great ones, I don't mean great and whoop-de-doo and all that stuff and thing stuff. I'm talking about people who have come to peace, who have come to contentment, who have moved through their trials and their tribulations and come to that rest. Come to that restful place where nothing disturbs them anymore because they know there's more than themselves happening in their lives and they're connected with it. They have a connection with it and they trust it and they know that it has full power to keep them in that state of amazing, peaceful grace. The gift that is given to them is given to you too. So I salute the Christ within you, and I namaste that power and that presence that can take you through anything that you may be going through and set you up higher, aright, and the better for whatever it is, because right where I am, God is, and where God is, there's every opportunity to mend and to fix and to heal, simply by allowing it. So to you and the Christ within you be the honor and be the glory. To you be its peace, to you be its joy. And may you walk through this coming year feeling blessed, with grace, with ease, in peace, in joy, in health, in well-being, in loving relationship, and creating beautifully through your life's expression. That's my prayer for you on this Christmas morning, and I know it's heard, and I know it's responded to immediately. And so for this week coming, and a few days after that, I'm going to ask everyone to light a candle every day for 12 days. Every day for 12 days, and as you're lighting the candle, simply honor the power and the presence of the Christ within you. That's all you have to do. Just as you light the candle, honor the power and the presence of the Christ within you. And then from here on in, for the rest of your life, every time you light a candle, honor the power and the presence of the Christ within you, because that light pales by comparison to the light that shines in you. And so it is.